future. Go ahead, Steve.
The readout of the visit to the border said that they discussed capacity needs for unaccompanied children. Will they be making recommendations to the president? Is there a need for more capacity?
Well, we know just purely by the numbers, Steve, that there is going to be a need, right? Because we have a large number of kids, unaccompanied children who are coming across the border. We've made a policy decision as an administration that the humane and moral approach is to keep these kids safe and get them into facilities that are safe. There are some limitations, which I know many of you are familiar with because of COVID restrictions and protocols that reduce the capacity at a number of these sites. CDC also put out some guidelines. Many of you may have seen, I believe it was on Thursday or Friday, that will allow for increased capacity at some of these sites. But it is an area of policy discussion. How will we continue to accommodate in a safe and humane way these kids? And our objective remains moving them as quickly as possible out of the Border Patrol facilities. In order to do that, we need to have shelter facilities that are safe, that have access to educational resources, legal resources, health and medical resources, and we need to ensure we have capacity to do that.
And separately, the U.S. has identified 3 online publications directed by Russia's intelligence services aimed at undermining the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines.
Yeah.
Are you aware of that? What can you do about this to counteract?
Well, first, we can reiterate that we will fight with every tool we have disinformation. We are certainly not new to, or we're certainly familiar with, I should say, the approach and tactics of Russian disinformation efforts. And we will reiterate that at every opportunity, these vaccines are safe. They've been approved by the FDA. We will have, of course, health and medical experts conveying that at every turn. And we will look for ways to combat disinformation. But we are aware of it, we are monitoring it, and we are taking steps to address. Go ahead.
You mentioned the historical bipartisan nature of infrastructure. Has the administration made a determination about its next legislative priority, whether it will be a targeted, focused infrastructure bill that could potentially pick up Republican support, or whether it's going to be a bigger, build back better, more sweeping, potentially more expensive effort?
Not yet, Jeff. It's a great question. I mean, our focus, I know we say this publicly, but it is also our focus internally, is down the American Rescue Plan and getting it across the finish line, and we take nothing for granted. There are the president's priorities are not a secret. He talked about them. You touched on a number of them. It was a part of his Build Back Better agenda during the campaign. Infrastructure is one of them. Investing in caregiving, doing more to improve access and expand access to health care, addressing our tax systems. But the structure, the size, the format, that has not yet been determined.
On ARP, should we expect a signing ceremony tomorrow or sometime after the House passes it?
I expect once we believe it's on the path to the president, of course, signing it, and I certainly would expect we'd take a moment to do that once it's done.
And what's the administration's plan to make sure that low-income people who didn't file a tax return because they don't make enough income, make sure that they get the money? Because I think in the last go-around, in the previous administration, there were some 8 million people who were eligible but didn't get
for the
money.
tax benefits.
Well, for the $1,400 payments.
For the $1,400 payments. It's a great question. I probably would have to talk to Treasury about their implementation mechanisms here and how they're able to reach those individuals. It certainly is something that when we came in and did reviews of processes that could work better, we also noted during the transition, but I'll have to talk to them about what systems they'll be able to be put in place to ensure more people receive these checks. Go ahead.